Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me again today. And today we are making this card here. This is the first one I made, which was for a fancy fold challenge. I don't really do very fancy. There's a lot more fancy folds that you can get, but this was my fancy fold, so it's not just a straightforward card. I just made this panel slightly longer and bent it back, folded it back, and then added my sentiment on there. And I made this with the Garden Impressions DSP pack, which I'm getting very short of now. Not many sheets of that left, and it's going to be retiring from the catalogue on the 3rd of June. So this is the 1st of June, so only a couple of days to get your hands on it if you wanted it. So that was my first card. I also used the Bloom by Bloom little mini punches, but they're no longer available. They would have been retiring on the 3rd of June anyway, but they're not available. So on my next card I had to do a bit of changing up. So I've still used the Garden Impressions paper here, but my plainer ones are just from this DSP stacks in the catalogue, and this is from the Brights family. It's the Melon Mambo one. And then the flowers, because I'd used the Bitty Blooms, I didn't want to use them again. I've actually used this little die here, which is from the Lovely Flowers die set, which is still going to be in the catalogue, excuse me. And then the centres, because I didn't have a little circle to use, I've used pearls that I've coloured with the blend. So I'm going to show you how I do that later on. So I think that's quite acceptable. So that's that card. So we're going to make it in yet a different colour scheme today. We're going to start with, these are all the bits that you will need. And I'm going to work in inches today, but I will put all the measurements in centimetres, in metric, on my blog. I've had a couple of people ask me about how to make this card, so that's why I'm doing the video. I posted it a few days ago on my blog, but several people have said, oh, how did you do this and how did you do that? So I thought I would do a video. These are all the bits that you need. Like I said, I'll tell you all the measurements in inches, and then they'll be in centimetres on my blog, although you may just need to adjust a tiny bit. It's very difficult to do the conversion sometimes, so if you're working in centimetres you may just need to just check the measurements a bit more carefully. So anyway, so I'm starting off with a piece of card that is 9 inches by 6 inches, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and we're going to score in 2 places. We're going to score at 1 7/8 inches. So let's get rid of the cutting blade. I don't want to do that. So 1 7/8 inches. So I'm lining the edge of my card up here with 1 7/8, and I'm going to score that line. And then the next score line is at 4 7/8. So I'm going to move that along to 4 7/8. So I've lined it up there, and we'll use that one. And that's my card blank. I won't need my trimmer anymore, so put that out of the way. I do then need my bone folder, and we're going to just burnish those folds so that they're nice and crisp, like so. There we go. And go back the other way as well, and then they'll lie as flat as possible. There we go. So that's the basis of our cards. We've got the back piece, and that's the piece that folds over, and that should be fairly central, hopefully, according to the measurements that I've used. Right, okay, so we're going to get gluing with the DSP now. So I've used a different pattern this time, again from the Garden Impressions, and I'm going to use that as my middle panel. My middle panel measures, let me give you the measurements, 1 3/4 inches by 5 7/8. So whereas this is 6, this is just slightly shorter than the 6 centimetre card. Like I said, you can play around with that a little bit and find your own. It's always quite difficult. I tend when I'm actually making things, I tend to work by eye, so I don't measure very carefully, and then when I come to make videos I need to do the measurements, and I find that a bit tedious, to be honest. So but it should work out, hopefully. There we go. So a little bit of Tombow on there. We're very short of Tombow at the minute. It's still stuck in customs in Germany. If you're in the UK you might be struggling. I've actually got quite a good supply, so I'm not too worried unless it goes on for a lot longer. They are working hard to sort out the customs issues. So that's our first panel. Love this paper. That's the only little bit of that paper I had left. I was quite pleased about that. Right, now we're going to stick let's get rid of that. I've got some glue on there already. If you just use an eraser, it will take it off and then it shouldn't stick anymore. I'm hopeless at getting this glue everywhere, and then everything sticks and tears. But with a normal eraser, you can usually get rid of it. She says hopefully. Let's hope that's not going to stick too much anymore. There we go. Right, okay, so my next one, lost where I am now, is going to be this one. No, it's not. It's going to be this one. Turned it round. And again, I'm using one of the plainer papers from the stacks. I'm going to use a little bit of background paper here to glue on so I don't get it on my craft mat. I can't bear it all sticking all the time. This is from the Subtle stack, and this is Soft Seafoam, one of my favourite colours. I love this pale green. Really, really pretty. There we go. And that is going to go on here like so. Let's try and keep it in camera for you. There we go. And then the next one, so that's that panel, and then we've just got a very small strip, which, or did I tell you what that one measured? I don't think I did. This one measures 5 7/8 by 2 3/4. And then this one measures 5 7/8 by 3 centimetres. No, not 3 centimetres, 1 1/4 inches. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong measurements there. There we go. So that's going there. I love this liquid glue, but I do get in quite a mess with it sometimes, and I can't bear when it's left. It still remains tacky for ages, and so you stick things to it. So I usually use a mat, but I'd forgotten that. There we go. Stick that in there. Like so. And then we've got a piece of Whisper White, which measures 2 5/8 by 5 7/8, and that's just going to go alongside there, so that you've got a white bit to write on. You could do that whole bit with pattern paper if you want. As it's a light colour, you could easily write on that if you wanted to. I just can't quite bring myself to write on designer series paper, so I tend to put a white insert whenever I need to write. So just a bit of Whisper White in there, and just butt that up against the green like so. And again, the Tombow will give you a bit of wiggle room if it's not quite lined up. There we go. There's all my panel stuck on. Then we need to come on in with the central thing. I've already prepared this, so I've got a circle that I cut out with the 3rd biggest stitched circle in the Stitched Shapes framelets, and I've stamped Happy Birthday from the Happy Birthday Gorgeous set, which again will be retiring on the 3rd of June, in Shaded Spruce, which is the colour that I'm using on my card base here. I don't think I said that either. And then this is the scallop from the Layered Circles, and if I show you where that comes in the hierarchy of the circles, so I think it's the 3rd biggest. So there's 1, 2, and then this one would be the 3rd biggest of those dies. So that's just going to stick onto there. Keep expecting this Tombow to run out because I've been using it for a long time, it seems, and it's still going strong. It does last a long time, Tombow, though. There we go. And just position that with the scallops peeking out behind, just gives a nice little background. I'm just going to bring my bone folder in and just burnish that a bit more because it's poking up a bit too much. And that one as well. There we go, that's a lot flatter. And then this is going to stick there in the centre of my card. So I'm just going to glue in the middle there because I don't want it to overlap, and that will be enough glue to hold that in place. And then the last little thing we need is some flowers, and like I said, I used the little flower die from Lovely Flowers, and I've punched out, I've die cut 3 little flowers here, one from Melon Mambo, which matches these flowers, and 2 from Calypso Coral, which matches those ones. So I'm just going to glue those, a little bit of glue, one there, one there, and one at the bottom. And then, like I said, I used pearls. I've got all my pearls in here. So I'm using these ones, not quite the biggest ones, the next ones. And I've got my light Calypso Coral and because I haven't got a Melon Mambo blend, I'm using Lovely Lipstick, which is a very close second. I'm hoping it will be close enough. So I need 1 Calypso Coral, and this is just the brush tip of the blends, and you just go over the pearl to get the colour that you want, and the more you go over it, the darker it will be. And then Lovely Lipstick on 2 others. And I don't know that you'll be able to tell the difference between this not being Melon Mambo, to be honest. There we go. Very easy to do. It means that if you've got the blends, it means you've got pearls in every colour of blends that you've got, which is really useful. So just take that one, oops, doesn't want to come, and pop that in the middle of the pink one. And then the pink ones going in the middle of the, oh yeah, that's fine. Fine with that colour scheme. And there we have it. 3, let me bring them all in, 3 lovely fancy fold cards using the Garden Impressions papers. Really pleased with those, really like them. I've got 3 special birthdays of 3 friends coming up, so I think that might be where these are heading. Just to say also, the new catalogue is coming out on the 4th of June. If you're in the UK or any of our European markets, so that's the Netherlands, Germany or France or Austria, I can send you a catalogue. If you'd like one, just get in touch. All my contact details will be below the video. But if you are in the UK and you're thinking that you've got a really long wish list, it might be worth your while thinking about joining my team, which means that you can choose £130 worth of product for £99, and then any further purchases you make from the catalogue will be 20% off. So it really is a really good deal. You don't need to do anything else. You can run a business like I do if you want to, make a little bit of money to pay for holidays and whatever. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can just base it on your own purchases and just buy as you would have done before, but you get 20% off all that, and also you get perks like being able to see the catalogue early and pre-ordering early, so you can still get all those perks, but you're just called we call you a hobby demo if you do that. So just a thought, if you'd like to have a little chat with me, I'm perfectly happy to have a little talk. It's absolutely no obligation, there's no pressure, no one's ever going to make you do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. And if you decide not to do anything else but order the starter kit and join, then you just keep all your products and you will just eventually lapse as a demo and nothing else will happen. Anyway, that's enough from me today. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks very much. Bye bye.